Okay, we are on to game 4 of the Myth World Cup 2007 championship. Right now, the score from a games perspective is 2 games for MP Cox, 1 game for Name Changers. From a Myth World Cup scoring perspective, it's 12-9. So at this point, it's still anyone's match. The game here is flag rally. You're unlikely to see one team max the other because you do get points per tags. So we're likely to see a closer overall score. But in any event, 12-9 is still a pretty close map. So this is Haver Shadow is the name of this map. Basically, you got a trowel. Obviously, Zerks, Warriors, Archers, and Thrall. Along with the J-Man. So these maps are always interesting simply because, from a trowel perspective, you can afford to take more risk if you're able to survive and have your J-Man alive to heal. If you lose your Journeyman, or you happen to lose a close fight where one team's trow dies and the other is severely injured but survives, that heal can make a really big difference and can really turn a game on its head. So on the side of Name Changers, you've got, 2, 4, 6, 7, we got 12 Archers. We've got 8 Pus. 4 Pus, 8 goals. We've got Max Zerks, some Thrall, and some Warriors. We flip it over to Storm's team. A lot more Thrall, a lot more Archers, which is interesting. No Dwarves. They choose to pop the white rather than heal it. On the Name Changer side, they are healing their whites. I did miss a white, so we got 6 Pus in total. Oh man, what am I talking about? 8 Pus in total. I was right the first time. That's what you get when you do these things in one take. So fast forwarding, we have Tiri on the trowel. We've got Limp on the trowel from the Name Changer side. Oh wow. Okay, so looking at the strats here, if we look north, we have standard splits. So this reminds me a lot of Game 1 and Game 2, and actually of the Name Changer strategy on this same map, the light version this year. But Chicken Wire is split up with Ravikin on the north side. You've got Tiri and Paris flanking south, along with Grim. And then just a small holding force here with mid. Now we look and see, Limp is backed up by all of Name Changer's Zerks, and we have a War Pack behind. So it looks like, this massive Thrall trade from Stormrider is going to present them with a problem. Simply because there's no Dwarves on Stormrider's side. There's no way to get this Thrall into a meaningful position. So it'll be interesting to see if they can survive long enough for these Archers to matter. From a flag perspective, they have accomplished at a minimum pushing them off flag 2. Arsenic uses a Pus. Name Changers is not really in a position to be punished for that. So I think that's a little bit of an overcommitment from ours. He probably should have retreated to try to catch up with his Thrall. At this point, I think these Zerks and Archers are just dead. Chicken Wire, I think, should also be running to the Thrall. Interesting call to have Grim not try to reinforce mid. So Thundercrocks, instead of sending everything back mid to defend, actually sent their south flank on offense, and then they called their north flank back to defend. Makes sense. Their north flank is basically all immobile units, so they had to do it. Percent-wise, this is close. Must have been a great Pus there. I see quite a bit of stuff frozen. But again, very, very close from a percent perspective. Name Changers is, outnumbering this by quite a bit. They do see Paris, so they're shifting Lewd back to make sure that flag 3 is safe. Grim is going to be able to take flag 8. This Archer advantage is big. Name Changers can afford to play this more slowly. They were able to kill enough that, now the percentages are significantly different. We've got a 15 or 14% lead, really all born off the back of this play here. I think if ours had retreated earlier and Thierry had covered, or if they'd sent Grim Zerks, they might have been able to handle the rush a little bit better. But again, as I can attest to from personal experience, you're not really expecting that mid-game. And so, cut out and being very reactive, it's an easy, recipe to find yourself behind. Ravenars are doing as good of a job as they can retreating. You've got Donsky and Fire on archers, two very good light unit players. Thierry is shadowing this. Looks like Limp is going to try to get a flag steal. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to. Meanwhile, Paris and Grim are in the backfield. Name changers here. Looks like they may try to rush this. Not really in a position to do so. There's enough Thrall here. There's a threat of Pus. Grim tried to get a little bit cheeky, or that may have been Stormrider, as I turn on automatic camera. Yeah, that's Stormrider. Trying to get a little bit cheeky and just steal the Thrall. Or steal the flag by killing the Thrall that were on there. Name Changer's not having it. Fire taking this fight with Thrall. He could have afforded, I think, there's not a rush. He could have afforded to wait a bit and not lose these warriors. Instead of trying to rush it. He doesn't choose to do that. He may be feeling timing pressure just because he's not sure how well the holds are going elsewhere. Name Changers did lose their archers. So, again, same thing here. With enough time, Paris's archers should be able to whittle it down, but it probably won't matter. So, 49%, 41%. It did get a whole lot closer as we speed things along. I think most of that was, this fight here, along with Fire, really suiciding some warriors that he didn't need to. For example, if those warriors were just still alive, I think they would be able to mop these Thrall up pretty quickly. But Name Changer's still in a position to win the game. Teacox did get a fair number of flags. They're one flag away from victory imminent, so even if they get tagged out here, it's not the worst thing in the world. Thierry is now dancing. I guess he's wondering if he can sneak in and take flag 4. If either Trow had showed at mid, I think that would make a big difference. Limp is, to that end, coming over to just make sure. Looks like these Thrall will be able to keep Thierry from taking the flag. Flag 3 is no longer in danger, and you're sooner or later going to be able to kill these Thrall, leaving the only flag that they need, flag 6, which, again, Impicox is not really in a position to defend. Lets the Thrall go down. Thierry's making a last-ditch effort here to, kick all of these Thrall, but, Limp's Trow is easily able to come in and react to that. Not able to take it before the game ends. They finally kill the last defense Thrall of Ravikon, and leave with a max tag victory, whereas Teacox had 2 flags they weren't able to tag. Looking at the damage, huge game from Fire. So I did criticize him, I think, for taking that fight unnecessarily with his warriors, but he's a big part of the reason that they were in a position to win the game anyway. Another good one from Shyster. That was all with, I think, just Zerks. Very good at not letting units die. Hard to do when you've got like a melee pack, at least for folks like me. Nothing really to remark about on the Thundercock side. I think the big mistakes there were a little bit on the trade. 0 dwarfs. If you're going to do that trade, I think you need to send more mid early. And then from a reaction perspective, could ours have pulled back from mid? Could Grim or Paris have reinforced? Don't know if it would have made a difference, but it may have made the game closer, at least from my perspective. So with that, we will move on to Game 5.